I created this image with free stock photos only. Check out the Big Bad Figure Pack, which contains 100 free stock images released by my buddies over photomanipulation.com, and use the link in the video description to download them for free. Also, please watch the entire video because I will give you links to free hairbrushes, fog brushes, and so much more. I have used this picture with the mountains. Then I wanted to hide this area, so I copied a part of it again. And then for the left side, I have used this picture and I have added a mask and kept only that part. And I have added this selective color to change the color, and where I have modified the neutrals. And the blending mode is set to color. Then with hue and saturation, I have decreased the saturation to match better the colors. For the sky area, I have used this picture where I have selected only the sky, and with some cloud brushes, I have used those brushes that are free with a cloud brush, and you can play around. There are a lot of them, so you just select one, pick a color from the sky and start to paint around to add some haze to the area. After that, I have darkened up everything using levels, and again I have added more haze. Then for the sky part, I have used this picture and I have set the blending mode to soft light, added a mask. Then I wanted to darken up the area again, and I have added this brightness and contrast where I have decreased the brightness. Then I have added this picture with this really interesting sky, and I have added a mask and set the blending mode to color dodge. I did the same thing. I have used this picture, set the blending mode to color dodge, added a mask, and now my scene looks more dramatic. For the planet, I have used this planet picture and I have set the blending mode to screen. I have added a mask, kept only that part, and with a hue and saturation, I have changed the color to this reddish color. Then on top, I have placed this picture with another planet and I have set the blending mode to color dodge, added a mask, and because I wanted to have more interesting colors on the sky part, I have added a layer where I have set the blending mode to color, and in this area I have painted with a blue color and in this area with a red color. Then I have added a layer set to color dodge where I have painted with white to have more glow in this area. When I decided that my background is ready, I have made a copy, so press Ctrl Alt Shift and I, right click, convert it to a smart object. And now I wanted to add some bokeh to my image, so for that I have added a filter, and here on the blur gallery choose Tilt Shift, and here I have moved the sliders to this area and I have kept this area in focus, and the other area, the outside area, was blurred, and then hit OK. On this picture I have used the pen tool and I have selected only the rocks, and I have dragged the picture with the rocks here and I have duplicated, and now I have set my main area where I will place my characters. But before that, let's see what else have I done here. I have added a layer set to soft light and I have painted with a black color to darken up some parts of my image. Then with selective color I have modified a bit the neutrals, not too much, and with another selective color I have modified the neutrals, and this time the layer set to darken. And last, I have darkened up the bottom area using a levels adjustment layer where I have dragged the white slider to the left. Because we have the planet here, we have some lights coming through this direction, and I have added some highlights using the linear dodge. Really easy, you create a new layer and you set it to linear dodge. Don't forget to fill it with black, and double click to add the blend diff, hold Alt and drag this slider to the right, then take the brush tool and let's select a color from the planet. And now if we paint just a few touches, we'll add some really interesting highlights. And here on this left area I wanted to add some wild trees, something that do not really exist, and I started with these weird trees. Then of course I needed them to be really dark, so I have added a levels adjustment layer to make them darker, and with a color balance I have modified a bit the colors, and then using that soft light layer with the dodge and burn method I have darkened up the trees even more, and double click on the layer, and on the inner shadow I have added this inner shadow, and the blending mode was set to linear dodge. Then I have added more trees, I have duplicated them and darkened up the trees, added that inner shadow 2 times to them, and I have placed all the trees into one single group, and I have made the left part even darker, and I have added more highlights, but this time I have used solid color adjustment layer where I have choose my own color. So for this method, you choose a solid color and you choose a color that you want. Let's say this one, red one. Let's add it inside by holding Alt and clicking between the layers and set the blending mode to linear dodge. Double click on the layer and the same with the blend diff, hold Alt and drag the slider more to the right. And now if you invert this mask, so press invert or Ctrl and I, it will invert the mask. Now if you take the brush tool and the white color and if you start to paint, you will add that really interesting highlight wherever you paint. So now my scene is ready to add my character. My biggest struggle when it comes to photo manipulation is to find the right stock images. And because most of my artworks are fantasy, finding the right images, the right characters take me a lot of time. So this free huge figure pack is really important because I can use 100 pictures for free and also for commercial use, which normally would have cost me more than $100 or $200. And even after I got those 100 pictures, was hard to choose which one to use for this video, and believe me, it was really hard because all of them were really cool to choose from. So I decided on this one and everything was clear from that moment. I knew what I had to do. I have used the pen tool to select everything and I have added a mask. Later on I decided that I don't really like the hair part, so I have duplicated this layer so I won't lose it. And here I did a really interesting thing because I wanted to move her hand more to the back and I didn't want to cut the hand and paste it and rotate it. I used the puppet warp. So go to edit and here choose puppet warp. And some people use the mesh and I don't really like it that much because there are so many things that cover the character, and I like the puppet warp to be clean. So but if you prefer it, you should go to view and here you should check mesh. And now if you want to add some points, those points won't move, or you can move them. For example, if I move this point, the rest will remain the same. But as I said, this mesh covers a lot of areas and I really don't see it that well, so I'm going to view again, show, and uncheck mesh. And now for example here I'm going to drag this point and also this one from the elbow. And now a really cool thing, hold Alt on top of this point and you'll see a circle. And now if I rotate this circle, it will move only that area and you can play around. And now my warrior has the hand in a really different angle and I really like it like that. And as I said about the hair part, I didn't really like the original hair, so I have to replace it, and I have a part was painted and a part was by using a brush. Use this brush with the hair from Eva Design, and you have here a lot of brushes. And let's see, I'm going to switch to a color that it's close to her hair, this one, and the flow I'm going to set it to 100%. Now I'm going to drag this hair behind her and you can rotate it, and then you have to manually paint some areas to match her original hair. I added a dagger, so this dagger, of course I had to make it darker by playing a bit with the soft light, with the dodge and burn, then with levels, which I use it a lot, and with selective color I have played a bit with neutrals. Then I have placed the warrior and everything that I have added into one single group, and to this group I darken up her even more using the soft light. And then with the hue and saturation I have decreased a bit the saturation, and with the color balance I have changed the midtones. The blending mode is set to color. Then with some exposure I have added some lights on the left part because we have the light that comes from behind. Then with levels I made her even darker, and that method with the color fill for the highlights, I have used this color for the highlights. And then later on when I'm going to add the magic here on the spear, you'll see that we'll have some blue reflections, some blue highlights on her. Later on when I'm going to add the dinosaur, because he will have some fire coming through his mouth, that fire will add some reflections, some highlights on this side of her. And then for the dagger, for the spear, I have used the linear dodge layer and I have painted with a blue color. So I have used a color dodge. If you don't know how to do that, it's the same thing. Go to layer, new layer, and here choose color dodge and fill it with black. Now let's choose soft light as the brush, and here if I use this color from the background, and if I, of course the flow should be really low, like 2-3%, and now if I start to paint, you'll see that I will add a really interesting glow on the area that I paint on this layer set to color dodge. Let's paint some more so you can see the differences. So here we need some glow because we have the lights that come from behind. Now let's see, this is without, this is with, and then on a linear dodge I have added some white highlights here and there, especially on the hair part and here on the spear. And now it's time for the magic. On the magic I have used that method that I know from Max Asabin. I have a lot of tutorials on my channel. The one with the magic book, it's really great, you can learn it from there, and of course from other tutorials, but that one is really complete. The first important thing is to create a group that is set to screen, and on this group the first layer should be filled with black, and then on top you should have this gradient map. I have used this color scheme with the blues that start from the dark blue to the white. The first thing I have painted with a cloudy brush to add some haze, and then I have used this layer that normally it's a fire. Let me drag it outside this group so you can see it better. So this is the picture that I have used, and inside this group, because the group is set to screen, okay, and because we have this gradient map, it looks like that, like blue, and with a mask I have masked some areas, and I did the same thing with another fire image. And then I have painted more magic here on the top of the spear, and because I thought that this blue is really intense, I have added a hue and saturation on top of them, and I decreased the saturation. Now is the moment for the mighty dinosaur. So this was the original PNG file that I had. If you see, it's really low quality, but I think we can save it. We can do some things to make it better. So I have imported here, added a mask and removed the tongue. The original tongue was like that, and I had to play around and manually draw that area to make it look like that. And then the eye, if you look at the distance, you cannot really see the eye of the dinosaur, so I had to switch to this dinosaur and I have used his eye, and of course I have added a mask and kept the eye over there. And because, as I said, this dinosaur was really low quality, I had to manually draw some parts, and you can see here on this part it looks a bit better. I had to add some shadows, so I have used levels for the shadows. I have placed everything into one single group, and the first thing that I always do is to add the levels, and I have darkened up the dinosaur, and then I have added this dodge and burn to add more shadows to it. With another levels I have made him even darker, and with the curves I have dragged the blacks to the top to add more brightness, and with color balance, the layer set to color, I have modified the midtones, and for the highlights I have used, as I said, that method with the solid color. I have painted on the sides to add that pinkish color, and here on the mouth I had to add some reflections because we'll add some fire over there. So first thing, I have added this linear dodge and I have painted with orange, then another one, and this time the layer is set to color dodge instead of linear dodge, and the last one with a more intense red, the same, the layer is set to color dodge. And here on the eye, with the layer set to color dodge again, I have painted with some orange color to make the eye more visible. And then for the highlights, here I have painted with a yellow color inside the mouth, and that part is more visible and it makes more sense like that. And inside the mouth I have added this fire, this is the picture. I have added a mask, and I have set the blending mode to screen, and now it looks like the flames come out of his mouth. And for the magic, the same method, and this time I have this gradient map from dark red to orange and then yellow. And then here I have manually drew this magic, and this one is made by using the mist fog brushes that I told you about. For the foreground part here, this part in the bottom area, I have added many times the same layer. I have duplicated, and then when I finished with this layer, I have added this one with the tree, and this one with the leaves, and the same duplicated a few times, and also this weird tree. And to all of them I have added a levels adjustment layer, and I made them almost black. And then it was the time for the camera raw filter. For that, let's press Ctrl Shift and I, right click, convert it to a smart object, go to filter and choose camera raw filter. Here you can use my settings if you prefer, but I always suggest to try your own settings because every artwork is different. What else besides the basics? I have modified the details, and on the color grading I played not too much with the midtones, and on the effects I always add some grain. If you look, you'll see that we have some grain that helps all the elements that are different to look the same, and then hit OK. Because my Mr. 20T review hashtag started to grow a lot, people have used it more than 2000 times, I decided at starting this video to show the artworks of 3 artists into my Mr. 20T review section. The first artist is Ty Philly with this minimalist design. I really like the color scheme and how he blended everything to look like an illustration. It's not my style, I'm not into minimalist designs, but art is art, and this is really nice. I really love this design by Art Love Forever. I love the cyberpunk feel to the scene, it looks really badass, and I love the colors that he chose to create it. Nemanja Sekulic has a lot of tutorials with this type of edits. I have one also on my channel if you are interested in this type of designs. Congrats Art Love Forever for this really cool artwork. Next artist is Sakura Design with this poster from a tutorial by Mirror Rome. I think the result is really nice, a bit too much halo or glow around the subject, and I think it needs some bokeh for the background, but overall it's a great result, and I want to congratulate you for following tutorials. This is really important, it will help you to grow really fast, and it also helps us with our YouTube channels. We feel really proud when someone is following our videos. So if you want your art to be shown into my videos, please use the hashtag Mr.20T review whenever you post your design on Instagram. As I said in the beginning of this video, finding the right stock images is really hard. So I hope that you enjoyed this video with the free stock images, and I want to see that you try this tutorial with the same assets. I am really curious about your results. So if you want to try this tutorial, please tag me when you post your result on Instagram. I will share it to my story also. As always, if you found any value in my videos, feel free to subscribe to my channel. See you next time.